Okay, again, here's my palette. Here's my portrait so far. I've added a little more color on here. I've added a few more layers. Um, burnt sienna, burnt umber, a little bit of purple, some purple in the mouth. I'm going to warm that back up right now. That was my first layer in the mouth. It gets a lot darker. I'm going to put a little bit of a burnt umber on top, so it starts to get darker, richer. This doesn't have a lot of blending to it to soften the edges, except for right along the lip right here. Maybe a little bit of a red underneath the nose, on the lip. And kind of a little tiny bit of a warmer red. I'm going to take a little yellow and add to it to make the lip a little bit of a warmer red. Now this area right here, I'm going to have to blend. So I'm doing the bottom because it's a harder edge. And I'm just going to have water on my brush, clean brush. And I'm just going to go in and soften this edge so it doesn't have a hard line and it's a softer transition. I'm going to soften this edge. There's a little bit of a white edge to the lip. Soften this one that I just dabbed down. Push that lip edge back a little bit. It's really intense right in here. And here. So I'm kind of building my details, continuing to add value to the face. So the only place I don't have anything yet is under the chin. So again, for that, I'm going to start with a little burnt sienna. It's darker right here. There's a little dimple right here. So you can see I just kind of drop it on there where I need it, and then I very quickly go in with water and just soften my edges. It's kind of dark up to here, and I'm going to have to reinforce that lip edge so it'll stand out from my shading around it. This whole area is kind of darker, and then it blends out to here. If you, let's say I put something down and I put it down way too dark. So let's say I put this down and it's just too dark and I've missed a highlight, like that's a highlight, okay? So I put too much on here. I can just rinse my brush off, clean it off on my paper towel, bring it up, and I can use water and I can pull that light back out. As long as my paint is still light, I can move things around. And it's still wet also, wet and just a light wash. Once it gets too heavy, then it's a little harder to remove lights any longer, but you can sometimes still, with a stiff brush, lighten things up. Like this brush isn't really stiff enough to lighten something up that's already dried, but sometimes I have some brushes that are really good for that. I'm also using kind of a purple, which I'm going to lay on top, light purple right here. Oops, I just got too much water on it. So slowly I'm building all the different shadows. There's kind of a light that's coming off the mouth right here. And then it's a little bit darker right above this. Right here. The more layers I put on, the more even I can get it. Right now I'm not really trying to get it too even because I kind of like the textures in the face, but the more I go over it, the more even it'll get. I can add some cool colors in places, like some blues, maybe right in here, hint of blue here. I need to soften the shape just a little bit. That's where light is on the face. So I'm going to kind of soften it so it doesn't look like a weird transition. This is a piece of hair, so this will end up getting darker on the opposite side over here. So let me put some color down there so you can see what's going to happen. So a little piece of blonde hair there. So I'm going to leave a little light area like this. In between, I'm leaving my whites to give us a sense of where that is, and then I would soften the jawline. And I start moving into doing the neck over here. So this was just a little piece of hair that's kind of coming down over the ear, and I wanted to leave it a little lighter. So slowly I'll start washing that out, and we'll be able to see that little piece of hair that's going to end up showing. Because it's really not the jawline. I don't want it to look like the jawline. Okay, I'm going to soften this before I stop. So just keep layering, all right? Getting darker, slowly getting darker.